you don't have to hit the home runs. I think it's so important to just take it slow, day by day, get your profits, pay your bills, and just,
Greed will destroy you in this industry.
It will.
Welcome to the Trader Society podcast. I'm Grant Hardy. We got Derek Vandy and our good friend Christopher Kane. And
what's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Good.
Good. How you doing, Derek?
I'm doing great, man.
Good,
It's
good.
Wednesday. We're all headed to the summit tomorrow, so
Really excited about
I think
that.
we're all pretty excited about it. We're going to meet a bunch of our, fans, I guess you could say.
Fans, followers, everybody.
Yeah.
Catch up with everyone. So it's gonna be good. So today we have Chris on the podcast. Him and I, we go way back. He's good friends with Anthony. He's been trading Forex for a while now, longer than I have. And I'll go ahead and let yourself introduce yourself.
Yeah, like you said, name's Chris. I started trading with Anthony when he kind of discovered it, the whole Forex markets, and he's like, bro, check this out, And so he showed me, and I got into it, and I actually really liked it. In the first year, I went hard into studying it, notepad and pen, like going over, learning everything I could about it, and did pretty good, and then did, the beginner mistakes, over leveraging. Probably over leveraging was probably the biggest mistake.
Did you use a stop loss?
Time and time? No.
Second biggest mistake.
Yeah, I've definitely I've done that recently too, and but yeah, that I went through the whole phase of being like, yeah, I'm calling good trades, making good moves, taking profits where I need to, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like quadruple my lot size, and then the whole account goes in one trade, and maybe it'll turn now. When that thought goes through your head, it's just like, oh man, that's the worst. Like
Right.
maybe this is the part where it'll turn around. That's never a good place to be in. And so repeat that cycle, and now I'm doing pretty well. I'm being profitable overall. This week I'm up like 100 pips.
Hell
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
this week's doing pretty good.
I know this last month, you had a pretty great month. You made like, I think 14, 15K.
Yeah,
Is that what you're at?
I made it to 14.
That is pretty freaking epic. And he was using only one standards
Mhm.
on this account. So you can do the math on how many pips he caught last month. But this man's a beast. And it's fun watching him trade. He's been in the office for the past 2 months, in and out. And he kind of has a similar way of looking at the market as I do, as far as like he can tell how certain things are just going to act, probably by just watching the market over and over. And that's kind of how I feel too, is that I can look at the market and tell you exactly what it's going to do in most times. The only times where I really can is when it's consolidated. But other than that, I can tell you how the market's going to move pretty good. So I noticed that about you, and I think that comes from just, subconsciously putting it into your mind, I guess.
Yeah, lots of hours staring at charts. Lots of hours. Lots of failures. Lots of success. And just, experience overall.
So you've been trained for about 7 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that moment that you realized, you know what, I'm actually pretty good at this?
I would say because I've traded for 7 years, but I would say after the first like 2 or 3 years, I gave it up because I had blown through so many accounts, like never taking profit.
Now, did you, in that time, did you still look, after you stopped putting money in it, did you still look at the market?
I would still come back to it and check it out and like kind of take guesses, and maybe even play demo here and there, and I would be doing good. And then like finally, I was like, I'm gonna commit to it again. I'm gonna go back into it and try to get my head right, because that's like 90% of this game is getting your head right to play the markets.
Right.
And as soon as I had my head right, I've been doing good. I've been doing really good.
And what did you do? You said you put $100 in an account, and what did you do from there with that?
I took $100, traded only pennies, brought it up to $350.
And how long did that take?
Took about 3 months.
Wow.
See, man, he's just probably super disciplined in that approach when you did that. I mean, you obviously, were you using stop losses on that?
I was using stop losses, and I was writing down every trade, reasons I took the trade, where I entered, just like all the details about them.
See, that's why you are where you're at, and you can see the market where you can see it because you put in that extra effort.
Right.
And I think that's kind of like one of the reasons why I can see the market in a different way than most people see it is because I put in different effort by, creating courses and like really just like back testing and going over sitting there watching the 1 minute chart for I don't even know how long, but a long time. And I think it's like that extra work you put in, it really, really helps you become a better trader and allows you to use your subconscious to kind of help you trade, I think.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So one thing I'm going to add to that too, but once you get to a certain point and you see it, I feel like you can kill yourself. You can shoot yourself in the foot by staring at the charts too much.
Yes.
Like it's really important to kind of see, once you understand how you can trade, see what you have to do, see what's happening in the market, and honestly just walk away. Because I have lost so much money sitting there like, oh, it's going to buy, oh, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
Just now we have outlets. We're doing podcasts, we're doing other things, businesses. We have a music room. You have to have that mental escape.
Definitely. For me, in those moments where I could do that is because that was my only way out.
Right.
Forex was my only way out, and so I had to make it work.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, and we talked about this yesterday, the fact that, you have businesses that are making you money on the side and how important that is. So you do have, like, that reassurance of, like, I don't necessarily need to make $5,000 in the market today.
Right.
I can just, watch the market here and there, and if I see something, then take the trade.
Right. It's not my sole income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice, and now you get to bring in an extra 15, 20K a month probably, or however much,
whatever it is.
Whatever
right.
it is.
You never know.
Yeah. Very true. And that's just, it's like, Q was saying, fluff money now.
Right.
I love that. I love
What's
that.
it called? Two beers and a shoe. So you're here in Arizona now.
Yep.
Yeah. How you liking it up here?
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it, honestly.
Yeah.
The community's okay. Like people here, they're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I love how like clean it is. Like the people around here really take care of their environment, kind of thing.
For
sure. Down south, like,
yeah,
kind of
a little
they
different.
call it the dirty South for a reason.
I like it, man. That's freaking. I agree, and I think we're a little bit too spoiled here.
Oh, for sure.
Once you go outside here and you're like, oh gosh, this
can't go back.
But man, that's crazy that you have had this journey in Forex, and now you're at that point where like you have a 6-figure account that you're trading, and like how much has that changed your mind and your mentality now that you have an account like that?
Really, I've enjoyed it. Like, I'm happy about it. I don't know, like it didn't change how I traded the market, except for maybe in the beginning I was like, I wanted to build a little of that fluff room on the 6-figure account. I wanted to like have some leeway to like work with, and then I could start kind of playing with the market. So like I only took some trades that I was like, these are gonna work out, and that's kind of how I should always trade anyway. But
so you made about what 15,000 last month. You got into some iffy trades.
I did.
You brought the account back down.
Yes.
Right. So now that you have to work, and you're still in profit, right? Okay. But now that you've lost a significant amount of that profit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now that you've done that, whenever you bring that account back up, are you going to withdraw this time?
This time, definitely. Like I sat on withdrawing. I was like, no, it's the greed. The greed will get you.
That was a game changer for me. Whenever I stopped trying to be like, I'm going to build this account to whatever number, right? And I'm like, you know what? The work that I put in, that I took from the market, I'm going to withdraw. And that was a big game changer for my mentality and my approach.
And it's like, I did the same mistake I always did before. Like I've been using the one standard lot size, doing great. You know, a few losers, a few winners, overall winning, which is what you want. And then the one trade I'm like stacking in. That's the one that just like overnight, no stop loss.
And you use no stop loss and you fell asleep, right?
I fell asleep.
Because you were up pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's crazy.
I was up when I went to sleep. I was up like, I want to say like $800 in the trade.
Yeah, wow.
But I was in I think $1.50, so a standard 50.
So you were up probably 70 pips, you know?
Yeah, I was doing it was pretty good. And then it was that GU sell off that just happened.
So I want to add too, you're using a 6-figure account, right? And you're only using a standard.
Yes.
You're not stacking in more. Are you stacking in more standards or just one position, one standard?
I'll put in one standard on different pairs, but I won't stack in more than one standard on a single pair.
Yeah.
So how much are you risking per trade? Like, what's your max loss that you would want to lose on a trade?
Like 100 pips, I would say, is like, if it goes 100 pips against me, like I was wrong, and I'll cut that loss.
Mm-hmm. So that's, you're using one standard and you're risking essentially $1,000 max risk when you're using a stop loss and doing what you know you should be doing.
Yeah.
I think that is so important. And like people try to, and I think it's just what the niche has come to, because we do have people in this niche making loads of money off one trade. But I think if people would take the approach of using, if you get funded and you have a $200,000 account, why go more than 2 standards?
Right.
Like you can continue to keep this account, grow your money. Like you obviously are trying to get funded for a reason because you don't have a ton of capital or whatever reason it is, but like you don't have to hit the home runs. I think it's so important to just take it slow, day by day, get your profits, pay your bills, and just,
greed will destroy you in this industry.
It will.
It's why almost everyone fails, is because they get greedy and then they do things that are just nonchalant, like you did with that GU trade where you went a little risky and, not even really, but you probably should have had your stop in profit by this point, especially if you're almost going to fall asleep.
Yep.
And then, you wake up to negative $5-6 grand and it's not a good feeling. And I think that we've all been there for sure. I know I have, but those are just the things that beginner traders and even traders that have done it for a long time need to take more seriously, because being nonchalant in trading is going to eventually screw you.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure.
It's what's always screwed me and what's always had me have my worst days is because I'm like, you know what, today I'm just going to take this trade by just feelings alone. And it's like nothing else really lines up. And those are the trades that I'm like, oh, you stupid. And then there's always that just obvious entry. Like, oh, this is where I should have entered.
Right.
And I'm like, I hate that.
Yeah. You're definitely the most disciplined trader I know.
Yeah, man. I've just been through so much. The nonchalantness of who I am as a person, I had to really change that because that was what was essentially holding me back in my trading. So now I have to take it so serious.
Yeah.
If I want to stay in the game and continue to build, that's what I got to do.
Yeah. So what's your, so you said you're going to withdraw. What's your profit goal now that you want to withdraw at?
I'd say when I hit just over 10,000, so 10, I can have that 10,000 I pull out and then still a little extra in the account. So maybe 12,000 to 15,000, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Nice. I like that. Then you can sit on that 10K and, you live a pretty simple life as of now, and, which is great, dude. I wish I lived more of a simple life. I'll tell you that much, because it's a lot to maintain, but that's good money for what I like to call Wi-Fi money, just doing what you do. And you don't really have to put a crazy amount of effort into it. It does drain you mentally at times, but you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
How many trades a week do you take?
Just depends on the week. I would say like probably 5 on average.
5.
But there's been like weeks where I take just like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Weeks I've taken like 10.
Yeah.
You know, just depends on what lines up.
Yeah. I feel like that works a lot. I've tried to look at charts less and take like maybe 3 or 4 trades. And you know what? Last night it was, so I had a small loss last week on US 30. Lost like $200. And then other than that, I haven't lost a trade in over 2 weeks. But last night I bought on UJ, and for the first time, I knew it was going to happen as soon as I buy on UJ. It finally falls through the trend line, stops me out, and I took a $500 loss. I'm sitting there looking at the charts like, oh, what else can I get back into? And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I shut my phone off and, went to bed.
Smart.
And I didn't take another trade. And I'm really happy that I did, because every time I do that, I end up screwing myself more.
Yep.
Yeah.
So knowing when to take a loss and just shut your phone off after, because that was $500 after almost a $2,000 day that I had. And, it just eats into your profit for the day. It hurts.
Yeah.
So.
And it was a trade that you didn't necessarily, like, you probably felt like it's been exhausted for a little bit. It was like a 50-50 trade.
But looking back, it's like, okay, I know this was going to break because it literally double topped.
Exactly.
Like, why did I do it?
I don't know, because it did kind of look like, hey, it could either launch up or, do what it did. And, we all talked about it, and we're like, it could do this, but it also could drop.
Right.
And it unfortunately dropped for you.
Sticking oil.
Yeah, dude. You had a perfect oil trade yesterday.
Yep.
That was nice. It was that little trend line.
Yep. Made Conrad some money.
Yes, he
Me
did.
too.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
I went in on it too. I liked it.
See, like, that's just like, with the way that I trade, I'm so particular. Like, it had a lot of things that lined up in this trade. And this is what I'm trying to change, because, like, I say if the trade makes sense, then you should take the trade. And this trade, everything made sense except for the way that the TDI looked for me. And it's like, well, I just lost out on this trade because, it was perfect. And now, because of the way I am so stinking, like, picky, it's a good thing, but also a bad thing. I lost out.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to do that. We were talking about it all day yesterday.
I'm just mad I didn't hold.
Right?
It closed way too early. Way too early.
Another one, dude. GBP NZD, 4-hour, perfect trend line, 3 shark fin, everything. I was like, Conrad calls me last night. He's like, should I get in this trade? I'm like, well, it's going to drop like 70 more pips, like, at least, I'd say. It's like, why am I not getting in? Because I knew it was going to do that.
Yeah.
And what did it do? It dropped 70 pips. And I think it's still dropping now. But that's where I'm trying to get better. It's just like, those trades all make sense. I need to get, in the risk rewards there, I need to get, like, less picky.
Yeah.
So I'm working on it.
Yeah. Turn the gambling notch up just
Yes,
a little bit.
exactly. That's what I need to do. And dude, the old me would have taken it 10 times over.
Right.
I've just seen, I don't know if I've seen it just keep going too many times, where it's like, but I've seen this thing just travel on up.
Would you say the market is acting differently now than like a year or two ago too? Could that be something to do with it?
It is. This is what I'm afraid of, is because the higher time frames are on breakouts. So sometimes these pullbacks that should, like, on a normal, like, consolidating market on the higher time frames, like, it's definitely going to play out.
Right.
But I have this feeling like that because the higher time frames are so broken out, it's just going to not respect what I know it's ultimately going to do.
Right. And that just goes to show that no matter what, you always have to be open to changing your outlook on what you're seeing in the market.
Exactly.
Because things are constantly changing.
Like, I'm being way too defensive right now in the market, and I just need to play a little bit of offense.
Right.
And I've realized it. I'm working on making that change, and that next time that trade lines up, might not perfectly line up with the TDI, I'm still gonna take it.
Right.
You know.
I've taken some trades that you haven't taken that you've called out and they work out.
Yeah, man. It's like I called that 3,400 on US 30 short. I told everyone where it's gonna go, and then all of a sudden, you know, they had a shark fin on like the 4 hour, 1 hour, and that thing just like it messed around for a little bit, but then
It did.
New York session open, dude, that thing just tanked.
It did.
I'd be up like 5,000 pips, something crazy. I don't know, but
Yeah, I didn't
Can you
see
hold
either.
trades that long? I can't.
oh
hold
yeah,
trades
dude,
long.
that was my best trade was during COVID. I held when it had that initial spike, I held it for 2.5 months.
on US 30.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's my
What were those
biggest
swap
trade.
fees?
Dude, it wasn't bad actually because it was US 30, so
Right.
the contract size was small.
Right.
So I ended up making I think like 42 grand on that trade using a 0.10.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's
I was
awesome.
having a good time.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome. See, I've had days like that, but I quit, lowered my risk because I way ahead of myself, and it's not worth the stress and to lose tons of money.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'd rather make even just like $500-$600 a day or $2,000 a day, maybe 3 or 4 somewhere in there, versus trying to make 10, 15, $20,000 a trade. Like,
right.
honestly, like, and I'll be the first to admit that, like, I'm not ready for that mental capacity for that next step. Even though I've done it,
Mm-hmm.
like, it was good for me to take a step back and slow down because,
Yeah.
I had a couple big losses
For
before I
sure.
moved to Arizona and did this.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not afraid to admit it either because
Uh-huh.
everyone takes big losses,
For sure.
so, but staying consistent is better than trying to gamble more, in my opinion.
Base hits, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key to staying in, Forex and being profitable over time is just base hit after base hit,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and you're proving it right now,
Yep.
the one time you tried going for a home run,
Stacking,
Yep.
got
changing your
struck
lot
out.
size.
Yep.
No.
But, everything that you do wrong in Forex that you do wrong is just something that hopefully ingrains in your head and you just get to that point where you just don't do it again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You said it the other day. It's growing pains.
Growing pains,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
But that's, like I said, part of the journey. Each one of those growing pains makes you better. And I've had a lot of those growing pains.
Yep.
So I'm at that point where I'm having that new growing pain of like, play more offense, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited, man. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time in Miami. I'm going to come back and
Yeah.
take some 100-lot trades.
Yeah, there you go.
Just risk it all, baby.
Yeah. It'll be nice to get away too for like a little mental
I
break.
need it, man.
Yeah.
I need it. I'm
gonna be
excited to
good.
meet all the people, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Too bad Chrissy boy over here is not coming.
Yeah.
You can still buy a ticket.
Yeah. Calm down.
Going in.
We'd love to have you there.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah.
Sure. But anyways, I think we are ready to get out of the office today. We have an early day to head to Miami, and we're excited. We're excited for what's to come. We got some new hats in, and we just hope that you guys are enjoying this as much as we are. So if you are, please like, subscribe, and do the thing. And thanks for thanks for coming on the show, Chris.
Yeah. Thank y'all for having
Sure.
us. It's
Heck
fun.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Cool,
Cheers.
man.
Cool.
All right. We'll see y'all.